Good evening, everybody, both in the hall and online. This meeting has been called by Colne Town Council to listen to your views about the future of the Great British Rhythm and Blues Festival. But can I please ask everyone in the hall to be respectful and conduct themselves with dignity and courtesy this evening. We have councillors and officers here, and our names are displayed on the front here. But what we need to do now is listen to you. But I'd like to just make a short statement about, for transparency, what I've been doing and bring you up to date. So myself and Councillor David Clegg has been approached by a gentleman called Peter Barton and offering us a deal which would take the risk out of all of the council for losing money. We've had subsequent phone and email discussions with him, and Mr. Barton, you might know, had assisted Cliff Stocker when the Leisure Trust was running the Blues. He assisted Cliff at curating and booking artists for Pendle Leisure Trust when they ran it. Mr. Barton has offered the council a deal whereby he takes over the financial risk of the ticketed venues. He will curate and book all the artists and all associated costs, including, he also wants to expand the types of bands and artists and broaden the genre offers. So he's looking at roots, blues, sort of folk blues, that type of thing. And this is a concrete proposal for 2022. Mr. Barton, he rang me up this morning, he's in Holland this week, running a festival, so he can't come, but he would have loved to come and speak to you about his offer. Pendle Leisure Trust actually brokered this deal. They rang me up and they are keen to work with him and have full confidence that he will deliver a profitable, lively and varied programme. On this deal, Colne Town Council would supply the infrastructure in this hall and the hippodrome, the sound system, engineers, lighting, etc. And then the council would also deliver the infrastructure in the town, which is the road closures, the food vans, the toilets, etc., etc. Now this deal will be for 2022 in the first place, as bands need to be booked immediately, really, because the tickets should be out before Christmas so that people can buy them for Christmas presents. So we need to make a decision by the latest next week what we're going to do. But I've also had a letter from a Jossie Owen indicating that himself and a group of local musicians, creatives, will be forming a plan to deliver the blues for the future. It did not have any sort of concrete proposals at the time, but was a set of very aspirational and really good intentions. And my understanding was that this would not be up and running for 2022 festival, according to a response to my question to a Pendle councillor at a Pendle council meeting last week. Although Colne Town Council hasn't received any further information, I know that there's work ongoing, and I understand that there's been further communication from this group to other people. I don't know who. But it's worthy of consideration for the future once that organisation is set up with financial backing or other legal requirements required. And lastly, there's always Paddy Maguire, who's been running the Blues since Colne Town Council took over, which she could perhaps run it slightly changed, I don't really know, but those are the three options that we've had, sort of thing. So I now need to suspend standing orders number 3 to allow longer than 15 minutes in total for questions. Right, standing order 3F. So can someone propose that we suspend standing orders? Can anyone second that?
I'll second that.
Kevin can second that, thank you. So now we'll hand it over to the people that have come to speak. So the first speaker is a Simon Breton. Sorry, we just got apologies.
Chair, you've received apologies from Councillor David Clamp, Councillor Emma Cornish, Councillor David Coburn-Price, and
he's on his way.
Okay, and Councillor Dot Lord, I believe.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sounds like you're whispering.
All right.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My notes were written prior to your welcome information.
Okay.
And you should bear in mind as I'm speaking on the knowledge I had literally 5 minutes before you spoke. And it is indeed good news if local parties and wealthy local parties are interested in saving this festival. So be aware that I'm writing notes that were written prior to that revelation.
Thank you.
I'm sure that many others here will share my confusion on hearing the unexpected announcement that this festival is to be cancelled. Your statement says it's not actually being cancelled, merely being changed. But to my mind, if it's being cancelled and replaced with something else, it is being cancelled. To change something, you've cancelled it to replace it with something else. To say it's the same, it's not. So with due respect, I will stay with the common misconception that it's not been cancelled, and I believe it has, although with due respect to your information just now, we may be able to salvage things. It takes years for a town to become synonymous with a major music event, so for a small number of council members to be able to destroy it in an hour at a quietly held meeting just seems wrong. And this is the overwhelming feeling I think a lot of people and hearing the news are having. I'm just saying what people must be thinking. If I'm thinking it, if I have a misconception, then a lot of the town members have the same misconception, because I'm not an original beast. I'm just the same as everybody else. The cancellation for the last 2 years was due to the virus, and this gives the council an idea that it's been cancelled for a few years. Let's just carry on as is. We can cancel it again. And it's true the public are used to these decisions being made on their behalf. The government have made so many draconian changes that the public in many ways has become hardened and resigned to shrugging their shoulders and accepting it. But here we have new ground. It's not been cancelled for health reasons. It's been cancelled on financial reasons, from what I can see. And the council opinion seems to be now is a good time to bury bad news. Now is a good time.
Mr. Breton, can you just move forward to the...
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry.
They can't hear at the back.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. My apologies. In this new world, the council wants to live where they can make decisions what they want, and painting it over as something they're doing for our good. And frankly, I think that's an insult to our intelligence. So I'm going to ask the council to stand back and ask them, setting this new path, and ask them whether what they're doing is encouraging a them and us mentality. This mentality going forward helps no one, not the council, not the people of Cohen. It seeds suspicion in the population, and to some degree possibly even contempt within some of the council members who think they can do what they want when they want. So I'm going to ask the council to give us the information on which they are basing their decision. Is it financial? If so, what are these costs? Can they be reduced in some way and minimised in some other way, rather than just cancelling or altering the event beyond recognition? Or maybe the council members simply don't like people having a rowdy time. That might be a conception that is being seen by a lot of people, and I'm quite sure that you councillors would not want that to be the case. But to my mind of view, that is a conception I'm seeing around with some people. They don't like people having a good time and making a lot of noise. They'd rather everything went along nice, tickety-boo, and quietly. So I'd like the council to come clean with all their costings and reasons, financial and otherwise, why they are having to cancel this event. There is a good way to do something and a bad way to do it. And I hope the council members are here, sat here, can see that there is something in their method which is at question. So to summarise, I would ask the council to publish in detail their reasons with costings, if necessary, to back up their conclusions, with a view to possibly addressing these individual concerns independently, one at a time, rather than the blanket, it's not going to work, it has to go.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bottom. Thank you. The next person is Anissa McGladry. If you're representing an organisation or yourself, can you just say if you are representing somebody other than yourself? Right. Right. Yes.
Am I close enough? Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. No? Can you hear me now?
Just turn the mic down a bit towards you.
There we go. Okie dokie. So I'm here representing Colne Bid this evening. So Colne Bid is a campaigning organisation funded and managed by over 370 businesses. It benefits our town's businesses. A town with flourishing businesses is a successful town, likely to be a vibrant place to live. I speak on behalf of those businesses who are unable to attend tonight. One of our core objectives is to promote the town both to visitors and residents alike. We do this by organising events, marketing with external organisations and social media campaigns. Our greatest calendar highlight is our Great British Rhythm and Blues Festival. The businesses of Colne directly benefit from the incredible footfall that this legacy event attracts, particularly our hospitality businesses. The festival provides them with their bread and butter revenue, which sees them through to Christmas and the bleaker month of January. There is a world of difference between a summer music festival showcasing local bands and a dedicated blues festival with headline acts that attracts people from all over the world. Colne is a small, unique town, and its events should mirror its uniqueness and appeal to its following. However, the people who run this town don't need to think small. We think they should think big, especially after the 18 months that we've just endured. History has taught us that people who visit us for the blues revisit outside the festival. They shop in our independent retail shops, they eat in our cafes and restaurants, and drink in our pubs and bars. In short, the blues have put Colne on the map, and not just musically. We must continue to organise such events. As an example, the bid has secured a date for a soapbox rally, which will benefit local businesses and will attract people from all over the north, showcasing our town and creating a strong identity. This is something we want to continue doing, so to change an event with a proven track record of attracting people from across the world isn't the right thing to do. I've heard people say, why doesn't the bid run the blues? The answer is clear. We are specifically forbidden by law to step in to cover services or functions of the council. Otherwise, we essentially just become a top-up tax for councils. However, we have contacts, we have connections, and we have know-how. We would like to formally offer this to the Town Council in 2022 and to a potential charitable trust in 2023. We tried to do this before, but found our ideas rejected without analysis, such as the ones previously put forward by our Deputy Chair for branded souvenir glasses or wristband entry to roadhouses. These suggestions, had they been adopted, would have created revenue. More revenue is the key to success. Here's to a new future for a reinvigorated Colne Blues. Thank you.
A bit easier.
Right, we've got Councillor Kieran McGladdery, now a councillor from Pendle Borough Council.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you, Chair. I'm not actually here this evening to talk about a summer music festival for Colne, although that is on the meeting agenda. We have something much more special to talk about. This extraordinary meeting has been called in response to the furore around the decision to cancel the Great British Rhythm and Blues Festival, which is what I will be talking about. My time today, Chair, is to plead for immediate halt to those new plans and ask you that the Council enters dialogue with local people about their vision for the Blues Festival. To ask you to find a way to ensure the Blues Festival can go ahead as it normally has in 2022, and to ask you to facilitate a new vision for the Blues Festival. In the last few weeks, I have attended open meetings in my capacity as Borough Councillor and have had extensive discussions with the newly formed group of local pub and restaurant owners formed under the umbrella of the CAN Group. This group have a plan that still needs Colne Town Council's support short term for the festival. in 2022. Keep getting of it. The plan is that within the next year, the festival rights and obligations will be handed over to a charitable trust to take ownership of the blues going forwards. Even in the early stages, this group has created a business plan that shows how the charitable trust can run the festival, not at a loss, not a break even, but with commitment from all, they can run it generating modest profits, perhaps even supporting local charities close to many of us. Councillors, the other week I was at Pendle Borough Council's full meeting. Some of you here were there with me, where I placed an emergency motion. That motion sought to seek clarity on this council's intentions for the blues, to review all options for Pendle to support Town Council with the 2022 blues. It sought to work with the public and businesses, set up the charitable trust, to ask for the trademarks and copyrights to be secured by Pendle until they are handed to the charitable trust, ask for the data and website to be secured until they become handed to the charitable trust, for Pendle's officers to urgently investigate all external funding and grant options, and to see if any central government funding could support the blues. This was done to secure the future of the Blues Festival in its current form. There is nothing at all to lose by re-engaging with the town and reversing from this path. There is the issue of standing orders and the legal complications of reversing decisions, but you will be thanked by all and applauded by all for finding the means to do so. We don't appear to be a million miles away financially. With 20 grand committed to the summer event that you talked about, and with a committed reserve of an additional 25 grand already there for the blues, we're almost at the original cost of the event with a ballpark of 50 to 60 grand. We have 45 already. We come from a small, humble, modest corner of the country with lots to be proud of here, lots of history. The bandmaster of the Titanic hail from Colne. We have our own gold medal Olympian, beauty countryside, to name a few. However, nothing has put us on the global map quite like the Great British Rhythm and Blues Festival has done. We're known worldwide for it. Tell me where else a 50 grand investment returns millions for the economy. Local businesses need the festival. They'll tell you more than my time allows it. So to summarise, I know it's just beeped. People want the blues. The businesses need the blues. I ask the council to park this new journey and re-enter into dialogue. I ask you to commit to 2022 Blues Festival and commit to the charitable trust. Councillors, you're sat where you are today because you were democratically elected to represent the people of Colne. I urge you to listen to them today. Thank you.
We have Tony Sutcliffe-White here. No? Right, Sean Windell then, yeah?
Hello, as you probably know, I'm Shauna, I have a local business as well. I'm here for the simple reason I've been born and bred on the blues for the last 30 plus years of I've been here 33, blues has been here for 30, and it's just something that for me as passionate person of music, culture, whatever, I just can't see this being, cancelled, getting rid of, replacing with something else, Summer Music Festival. That's not what Colne's about. We've been here for 30 years celebrating rhythm and blues, and that's what we're known for, and that's what this town should be still known for, if not bigger and better, like everybody else has proposed tonight, and obviously plenty of us will give their opinion and what we should do. We need to save this, not cancel it, not change it, not look at putting something else. We don't want, some people might want pop, but we don't necessarily. This town's known for its rhythm and blues, and that's what we should continue today. From me as a business point of view, it's something that's absolutely fantastic revenue we get running through this town, and to see it go to replace with something much smaller, it's not going to bring the people, it's not going to bring the footfall, it's not going to bring that revenue that this town thrives off. And as you can see today, plenty of people in mass support for what we hope to keep. So thank you.
Have we got Bert Lambert? Yes. Thank you.
Good evening. First of all, I would like to apologise. I'm actually deaf in my left ear and I've got an ear infection in my right ear, so I've not heard a word that anybody said up to now. So my apologies if I repeat comments that other people might have already made. So good evening. My name is Bert Lambert and I'm connected with the rugby club. We have been heavily involved with the Blues Festival for about 28 years. And I've had a good relationship both with Pendle Leisure Council and Colne Town Council. And personally, I would like to thank Colne Town Council for funding the Blues in recent years. They were given a bad deal, in my opinion, and did well in the circumstances. Despite what some people have said, there was live music over the last bank holiday weekend. The Lord Rodney, the Northern Whisper and the Rugby Club all put on entertainment, and talking to the venues, they were all a roaring success. I think this shows that a successful festival on a smaller scale can be viable and will attract music fans from across the United Kingdom. Looking forward, I do not think that a lot of councillors or Colne citizens realise the goodwill which has been built up from blues fans over the last 30 years and the affection that they have for Colne and their citizens. I've personally made friends with fans from South London, Shropshire, Scotland and the North East, and can honestly say that a one-day festival will not attract them to attend. The minimum would be 3 days, in my opinion. I agree that the festival needs to attract a younger audience and feel that the people hoping to set up the Blues Trust have the musical knowledge, the business acumen and drive to make the festival a success for many years to come, with the help and support of Colne Town Council and Pendle Borough Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Bert. Have we got Fred Mitchell here? No? Okay. It's Joss, which I named you in my opening remarks, I think, Joss.
Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joss Owen. I'm a local blues musician and blues promoter. I am here representing Colne Blues Society. We are a group of Colne blues lovers and creative professionals. We have developed a creative program that is built on the voices of the community. Our proposal envisions the inclusive, community-driven, cost-neutral festival we want it to be. We have also established think tanks. We have given polls, asked the important questions about the festival and Colne music scene. We've made reports on important issues around the festival and again within our local musical community. We've looked into women in blues and women at grassroots levels within our musical community. Blues within Colne, what can we do as a community? Potential careers within the festival, family life at the Blues, blues on the main stage, pub analysis, web and app analysis, branding and social media analysis, and the festival pathway for local musicians. We have a draft main stage lineup that we think will increase ticket revenue and will do benefit for not just the festival, but the town as a whole. Arts and hospitality has been hit hardest during the pandemic, and without the Blues, we will continue to suffer as a community. As musicians, we are indebted to the festival because it has shaped who we are as people and performers. The blues is woven into the cultural cloth of our town. Cancelling the festival harms the town's musical legacy. Wallace Hartley is currently Colne's biggest musical idol. Even the great man himself wasn't able to bring more than 25,000 people into Colne over one weekend. We are the biggest blues festival in Britain, second in Europe. Why would we swap that for another tenner penny live festival? Colne, Lancashire is the home of the blues. Isn't that astounding? Isn't that something that should be celebrated? A charitable trust would secure the future of the blues and would let it prosper. The blues is the biggest boost to the local economy and its greatest cultural asset. Unfortunately, Colne Town Council are no longer able to run the festival, but we as Colne Blues Society can. And with collaboration from other factions of the community, we can give the festival the future it deserves. We can do this. We want to do this. We have the skills to do this, and we want your support to do this. Thank you very much. Sorry, just before I finish, I'd like to thank every single one of you for all that you've done with the Blues Festival. In 2016, it was looking like we needed to save the blues. You did. Now, as a community, we can. Thank you.
Have we got a James Swindell here? Thank you.
Following that one, eh? That's an absolutely brilliant presentation. Very passionate. That's why I'm here tonight. I'm passionate about the blues. I'm a resident of Colne. Can you hear me at the back, by the way? And I'm a manager of a pub that doesn't have music, but what a fantastic event. I want to thank all the councillors, the volunteers, and the town's participants and visitors over the years for making it such a successful event. Our town has vision. It's a small town, but we have brilliant people. We've got a lot of skills. We can bring the community together. What my worry was when I heard all the rabbits running and the likes is that this was being used as a political football. And I don't believe that in your hearts you want to do that. I think you want to make this work. If everybody works together in some guise or other, not a one-day event, a 3-day event like they're saying, this can make a brilliant event and keep us on the map. We must keep it going. And also, we must have a longer lead up. Money is an issue. The more we can offset any grants or anything, it's better. If you sell your T-shirts, get your badges out there and the likes, whatever creative pool of thoughts you've got, you know, you need to brainstorm this. You need a work group. You need to tap into them skills and resources you've got in your hometown, not farm it out to consultants and the like. They're good at it, but we've got a lot of skills and a lot of brains in this town. Please keep it going. Work together. Okay then? Thank you very much, everyone.
We've got Jane Turner now. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Yes. I'm here as a business owner in Colne. We have Tubs of Colne, the restaurant, and also we've been working together with Joss and with Kieran and Anissa to come up with a plan of how we can do the blues. The intention is, as Kieran's mentioned, to put it into a charitable trust with a board of trustees, and that will be made up of members of the community that were interested, potentially someone from the council, potentially someone from Pendle. There's two parts to this plan. There's 2022 and then there's 2023 going forward. The plan we're putting in place will make it self-funding from 2023, but for 2022, we are going to ask the council to fund the Blues Festival for us. The way that we're going to make money, aside from all, I mean, I'm sure we can see that Josh is incredibly passionate about this, incredibly passionate about it, and they've got lots of ideas about how to maximise revenues on the main stages and everything else. We were talking with Christina Cope from Pendleside Hospice, who's going to speak again in a minute, and she came up with a brilliant idea of trying to run it like the pub walk. Because if you go on Pendle Pub Walk, there's nobody without a t-shirt, and everybody pays 50 quid. Now, if everybody paid 20 quid for a t-shirt to come to the Blues Festival, at 25,000 people, that's £500,000 in revenue. 50% would go to the hospice for their fundraising activities, and 50% would go to the charitable trust to fund going forward into 2023. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm a local writer from Pendle, and I'm here to democratise your festival. I want people around Pendle to share literature resources and address employment, housing and poverty. I think the Blues and Literature Festival we could have, or the Foods and Ethnic Cultures Festival we could have, should be around Pendle and not just in Corn. It should be cost effective and involve other villages and towns around Pendle, including my own town, Briarfield, others that I know well, Barley, Northwick, Fulridge, Nelson, Barrowford, Fens, Roughly, Trawden. This will help us recoup some of the economy we've lost in Pendle. It'll help alleviate child poverty. It'll better our local transparency on the protection and procuring of amenable strategies for the protection we need for a council. And I believe it shouldn't be costing us a lot of money, because I work with festivals all around the UK, and we're spending too much on a small festival. I say that considering that Pendle Council has one of the biggest overspend on staff and one of the least involved in volunteer work that can cover work that needn't be costing staff, the council money to pay staff. So really, if we had more volunteers with a bigger festival around Pendle on a less amount of money, it'd be an example to the rest of the UK. If we could organise 2 festivals on food and culture and literature and music, blues, at £10,000 a festival, it may attract, like Kieran was saying, if we have a nominated charity too, it may not attract 50,000 visitors, it may attract 500,000 visitors. People need to be given that incentive, but we need to work better as a council to be able to do it. Yeah, I think it deserves a final say from me. I've got lots of notes that I've sent to the councillors already around Pendle. You probably all read my notes. But it just leaves me to say that if we were spending a lot less, 10,000, we could cover more on child poverty, we could cover more on homelessness, that we could cover more on disabilities through statutory funding, would be an example to the UK of putting on a bigger festival, attracting 500,000 visitors, nominating a charity, having a wonderful team of volunteers, and people around Lancashire won't be criticising Pendle for all the staff we employ and not doing enough work. It's an extraordinary meeting, the Councillor Mary. It's an extraordinary meeting because we needn't waste time on waiting until next year. These could be done this year if we're fast enough and effective enough.
Thank you. Ash Sucklish is the next. Councillor Sutcliffe.
Thank you, Chair. I'm at a loss as to where to start in all of this confused mess, but I guess I should start from where I know. That puts me in a place of being a town councillor a few years ago, and one of the councillors that was responsible for taking on the Blues Festival. At that time, we hoped that by taking the festival under the wing of the town council, it would protect it in perpetuity. Today, and yet again, we're facing the very real threat of losing the Blues Festival, and for what? Well, my feeling is that the threat has come from mismanagement, it's come from poor judgment, and it's come from a fundamental misunderstanding and lack of communication between some of the people on this council and the population of the town they serve. This is evident in the way people have responded to the news that the Blues Festival will be cancelled. It is also evident in the way people have been dismissed when they've offered help in managing and reducing costs. It is also evident when huge concerns are raised by multiple businesses and residents and through the county councillors with no real answers to quick questions and comments about road closures which would kill business. I have always believed when you are serving the public that you must learn to understand what the people hold most dear and prioritise those things within the remit and the capability of the council. By taking on yet more services but not fully understanding and realising the potential advantages, disadvantages, costs and implication of those things that this council has set itself up for a fall. I cannot get my head around why a council would take over the running of service that was previously offered by a voluntary group at a cost of around £5,000, I'm referring to the wonderful work of Colin in Bloom, to then deliver the same service at a cost of around £35,000 to £40,000. This is incredibly poor value for money for the people of this town. This comment is not an aside, it is fundamental in understanding the huge value of investment. If you looked at an investment of around £60,000, which is the rough average price of the previous blues festivals, and the return for the local economy, then you would be balmy to not simply make that investment on a regular basis and see the value in economic, cultural and civic terms in the development of the future of our beloved town. Maya Angelou wrote, "When someone shows you who they really are, believe them. You have shown me that you're unable to keep the blues safe, and I believe you. Hand it over to a charitable trust."
Scott Wilkinson here. No. Carlo, want to speak?
Hello everyone. I don't know where to start. Well, I can tell you, in 2015-16, I was the one responsible to bring all the rest of the councillors, the town council, to bring the blue back again. And we did that in my restaurant. We discussed about it and we got it going. I know how hard it was for the first lot. Everybody worked very hard to get it going. In fact, there was a time where I thought, what the hell we started doing here? But the thing is, on the end of the day, we achieved it. And I was really proud when I saw the days of blue when people up and down called, and it was been a challenge, but what an exciting challenge. Now, a few years later, I'm back to square one, and I'm worried that we change the format, I think we're going to spoil it all. Thank you.
Have we got Leanne Bantic here? No? Mark Bateman, thank you.
Thank you and good evening. My name is Mark Bateman. I'm the owner of the bookshop in Church Street in Colne, a business that, to be honest, neither benefits significantly nor suffers significantly from the Blues Weekend. More relevantly for this evening, for the last 2 decades or so, I've attended every blues festival. I've always bought a full festival ticket, mainly basing myself here, also attending the other stages and the various roadhouses. And as an aside, I must say that in 20 years of attending and going into the roadhouses, I have never once been asked to show a badge or a wristband or anything else. So as a way of financing a festival, I really don't think that's a winner. I ought to say here and now, I disagree with the decision that Colne Town Council took, and like many other people, I dislike the way it was taken. It seems to me, or the impression was given, that it was taken in a corner, in the dark, rather than in the open, in the light. But it has to be said, over the period I've been attending the Blues, it has become increasingly obvious that local people no longer regard the Blues Weekend as a music event. It has become, for the majority of local people, as I think the Colne Times put it in a headline article, a rhythm and blues festival rather than a rhythm and blues festival. Undeniably, on the street outside, there is a great atmosphere. Undeniably, that atmosphere attracts thousands of people to share in that atmosphere. And it is beyond a shadow of a doubt that what goes on in the street outside is absolutely crucial to lots and lots of local businesses. However, people standing in Albert Road, Church Street, socialising with friends and family, having a drink, doesn't contribute a penny to the coffers of the festival. And if we are going to put on a festival with quality artists, that costs money. A few years ago, I remember this building being absolutely packed to rafters when Joan Armatrading played. But as I understand it, her fee was a good 5 figures. Now, we're not talking single figure thousands, we're talking over £10,000. Those of us who want the festival to continue in something very like its present form that we've come to know and love, have to find ways of getting more money into the festival coffers, either through ticket sales, merchandising, grants, sponsorships, etc., etc. Now, I think certainly in 2019, mistakes, errors were made in the way the festival was structured and organised, which militated against selling festival tickets, because you had headliners playing at the Hippodrome at exactly the same time as you had headliners playing here, and so you couldn't see the quality acts that you wanted people to buy tickets to see. But those are details that can be thrashed out and discussed if the festival continues into 2022 and beyond. But we have to face reality. The reality is that over the last decade or so, local government has been handed for more and more responsibility from central government without adequate funding going alongside that responsibility. That's why Colne Town Council were put in a position that they felt they had to take the decision they took. Now, I am no political friend of the party that controls Colne Town Council. I am no political friend of the party that controls Pendle Borough Council. But I understand why the Town Council felt it had to take the decision it did. Now, when I say I understand, that doesn't mean that I agree with or I condone. It's simply better than the alternative, which is not to understand why that decision was taken. And if we don't understand why that decision was taken, we can't get round to changing that decision and moving the festival forward into 2022 and 2023, 24 ad infinitum, and that's what we want to see happen. We're not just talking about the festival in 2022. Whatever plans are laid, and obviously what I've said, I wrote before the information that was given out at the start of the meeting, whatever decisions are taken about the blues should, as far as possible, guarantee the festival, not just in 2022, but for years to come. Thank you.
Have we got Harvey Brindle? No. Tony Dixon? No. Sandra Fernandez? No. Louise Boyle? No. Matthew Eyre? I've not seen him, so. David Clarke? Thank you.
Can you hear me okay? Yeah, my name's David Clarke. I'm a resident in Fulridge. I've attended the Blues Festival for over 20 years. I've previously written a detailed letter to the council leaders, which I don't intend to go over the details again. One point in there, though, was that there have been and will be 6 blues festivals, which are going to be held in 2021 across the country. None of them are on the scale of Colne. 25,000 people is more than Burnley Football Club. It's the biggest event in this area, I think, bar none. So I sincerely hope that the council will reconsider its intentions and recommence the planning and the organisation for the Great British Rhythm and Blues Festival, starting from next August bank holiday. It's a prime slot. There's only Manchester, there's Leeds, there's Reading. Nobody else in the blues world occupies August bank holiday. Can't lose it. Clearly, there are barriers to hosting the Blues Festival. There's obviously expertise, there's costs, there's health and safety, there's police, and there's ambulance. The list goes on. But I'd like to know what plans of action the council will be implementing in order to make future festivals successful, viable, and sustainable from 2022. Primarily, I think the barriers have been in the areas of finance, marketing, sponsorship, communications, promotion in particular, and resourcing. But hopefully, and listening to the positive thinking that's in the hall tonight, the Great British Rhythm and Blues Festival, it will bounce back, and it will bounce back from next year. So please, make it happen.
Christina Cope. Thank you. You were the first person here and the last person to speak, I think.
That's where it rolls. So good evening, I'm Christina Cope. I'm Head of Corporate at Pendleside Hospice and also a proud Colne resident. I'm here representing Pendleside Hospice. Pendleside would be delighted to be involved with the Colne Rhythm and Blues festivals in future years, in some capacity helping with registration and administration, as we have great expertise and experience in this area. For example, we do a similar admin and registration for the Pendle Pub Walk, which is alongside the Rotary Club of Burnley Pendleside, and is a very popular, important and successful event for us. We realise a business plan needs to be put together so it's clear what our involvement and responsibilities will be. But to reiterate, Pendleside Hospice are keen for Colne Rhythm and Blues Festival to continue. Thank you.
We've got Councillor Butterworth wants to speak. Thank you.
Good evening. There we go. So everybody's trying to stop me speaking. There we go. So, I really am glad that you're here, that the people of this town have a chance to speak. In the first meeting, I asked for the decision to be deferred, and that was just wiped out the way. And then, as mayor, brought the Blues Festival to the borough meeting as mayor, as a special item on the agenda, which only the mayor can bring. And I got lots and lots of arguments about that. I don't understand why people won't let you speak, because it is your town, and it is your money, and it is your livelihood. So I'm glad you're here. I'm not here to gain points. I'm here as somebody who lives here and somebody who's worked every weekend of the Blues, and so all the other councillors. We give our weekends up so we can enjoy it. So you want to thank the councillors for that. So the problem that we have, that we won't have at the end of this meeting, is the Blues started 30 years ago, and it started in this very room. From then till now, it has outgrown itself. It's gone massive, it's gone too big. You need 4 or 5 people, 5 days a week, all year round, just to sort it out. There is so much work that you as public don't understand, but I work with the officers, and it is horrendous. There is some good things and bad things about the Blues. One of the neighbours have called to me today and asked me to just remind people this, and it's not good, but they've asked me, so I'll speak for them. So on the last Blues, behind the bars just down here, I won't mention the names, it was that busy because he had a rave DJ on. You couldn't walk through the people, you had to go around the back streets. And the neighbour said they were coming in the backyard and defecating and urinating, which is not good for the Blues. In my eyes, a rave is not the Blues Festival. So I think we should bring the Blues back and not so that. So, as I said before, the town council has taken on a lot of new work, parks, bus shelters and all that. So we've come now from a town council to a mini borough council. So it is hard work, and I do understand. Now, before this meeting, I had a bit more of a speech, but after reading this, you know, that we're going to progress. Like I said before, it's your town, it's your money. The amount of experience that has come to that mark tonight is amazing. You know, if we've had you 3 years ago, we won't be sat here now. We'd have had 2 years to prepare for this epic event. So when you look at the loss of the council, just say we've lost £50,000. It's your money that we're losing, by the way. £50,000, but the economy grows by over £1 million. Then would I lose £50,000? Yeah, I would, to bring £1 million into the economy. It unites every single person. It unites everybody. Little bits of facts that mean a lot to me. You see people you haven't seen for years, and you bond again. And all the restaurants, all the pubs, there is bad aspects to it. You know, there's people taking drugs down there and people being rowdy and drunk. But that's part of a festival, and we can sort it out. So with Josh's help and the hospice and the goodwill of these council, I don't see a problem. So my last words are, I, as your mayor, which I shouldn't say, and as your councillor, I want this reinstating next year, and I want it to go on for 100 years. You deserve it, you pay for it, long may it last. Thank you.
Can I just ask the people who are here, Pete Barton, if he does anything this year, he'd like it to go back to 4 days, so that'd be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Is that too much for people? No, right. And I've got to say, like Mark, I've been coming to the Blues Festival for 20, 25 years. I've seen Sister Monica, Wilco Johnson, Andy Fairweather, all the people that we've already seen. And, you know, I've always bought a full ticket, you know, so I'm actually not just a councillor, but I'm a blues fan that buys, that comes to the festival every year. But I think we have Sarah Coburn-Price to speak, and then Mark.
I've really just got a question for Naomi. I'm not saying unfortunately, I rarely take a holiday. I was on holiday on the 21st of September, but I have seen the section of the meeting where votes were taken, and I've also seen the summons tonight, which says we're here to discuss the form of a summer music festival, because it seemed that a vote was taken to not hold the blues in its current form. And all the people here, there doesn't seem to be any dissent. Well, there's one dissenter, I think, the gentleman from Briarfield, who doesn't want to hold it in its current form, but there seems to be a load of consensus that people do want to hold it in either very similar form or the same form. So my concern is that the council took a vote, the council agreed something, and you know that the council isn't allowed to revisit decisions for 6 months. So I want to know how we can overcome that, if that is the intention of the council, because it's really, really important that any decision made by the council can be trusted. It's really important that we have the trust of the people of Cone, because if they make a decision tonight, that's one thing, and they overturn it next week, that trust is lost. Naomi.
Okay, in regards to council decisions, it can be changed, it can be reviewed. It takes 3 councillors in writing to send it to the proper officer of the council requesting a review. So that's in your council standing orders that says 3 councillors in writing to your proper officer to request a review of a previous decision, which would be less than 6 months requirement.
So to be clear then, we can't make any decision tonight to reinstate the blues without going through that proper vote.
It depends, because the decision was not to reinstate it in its current form. That doesn't mean if you change, say you go with the offer of that Councillor Thomas has said, that is a different scheme, that is a different setup. So you would still be following what you voted on. It was just in the current form as it was, that was what the councillors voted.
Councillor Clegg.
Just to try and clarify something, Chairman, and for Naomi as well, the original wording of the motion was not to continue it in 2022 in its current form, which was originally a 3-day format. Technically, and it is technically, if you changed it to a 4-day event, just a minute, if you changed it to a 4-day event, you wouldn't be running it in its current form, and you could probably take the decision tonight, but it's up to the clerk. It's up to the clerk to make. It's up to the clerk to make that decision. But what I am saying is, Chairman, it is possible to make a decision tonight if you wanted.
Councillor Thomas. Pardon? No, not 3 days, no. It means Councillor Thomas.
Thank you, Chair. Can I just ask people a question, first of all? Of everyone that's here, put your hand up if you've bought a full festival ticket in the last 30 years. It's about, well, that's more have than haven't. I think.
You've got some establishments here that are businesses.
But, yeah. The point of the question, I'm trying to just gauge how many people here are fans of the festival that is put on in this building. Well, we can have...
Can one person speak at once, please?
Yeah, well...
Jane, but for next year, for 2022, we've got to start, you need money to book bands that want 50% this month.
It's more than doable to hold the Blues in 2022. As the Great British Rhythm and Blues Festival.
Councillor Mark.
Can I come back as I was so rudely interrupted? I was just, well, I'm not going back over the questions of it. And the festival has been on a knife edge for the last 3 years, really, since the town council took it on, because it does take a lot of organising, and it does take specialist knowledge and contacts within the industry, so that people from if we're going to
You've had your public participation. Can you let the councillors speak, whatever they say, even if you don't agree with it? We didn't interrupt you, did we?
What happened in the past was when headliners from America, France, and other places, they were the ones that brought in the crowds, along with your 9 Below Zeros and your Hamsters and Dr. Feelgood, etc. It's not as people are saying, oh, the question, the decision was made in dark corners and nobody knew about it. The question was first raised at a council meeting in July, when people who are now claiming not to know anything about it were present at that meeting and even voted at that meeting for the decision to be postponed until the September meeting, which was the one that has caused all the fuss. There were people that turned up at that meeting that were told that the agenda had only gone out that day, which was not true. It was sent out as usual and publicised in the usual way. You can shake your head, but it was publicised in the normal way of a council meeting. And people were told that it was that that it was only gone out that day, which was not true. There is a way forward, and for 2022, I think the way forward is to take the offer of Pete Barton. That in Holland. He's in Holland. Because he will he hasn't had a go at it in the form that he is now offering. It is now being offered that there will be no risk to the council and no cost to the council other than road closures and providing the sound engineers. You either believe that or you don't, but that is the offer that is on the table. The other part of it is that he would turn the Hippodrome into what he's termed a concert experience. So that would be fully seated rather than, as it has been these last few years, with only a few rows of seats. Now that's the offer on the table. We've not seen the offer that the Colne Blues Society, or if that's the right name, has. So, you know, if well, if I'm saying it now, I think that makes it publicly available. It's been. We can't. At the moment, yes, because we've not. Because there is no risk to the council. Pardon?
Excuse me, right. Mark has been trying to get in to speak. And then I've got David Coburn-Price afterwards.
Yeah, thanks, Mary. I'm sure if I asked everybody in this room how many people have been to the Blues, we'd probably get a complete show of hands. So thank you for that. The first thing I'd like to say is thanks to all the speakers. It takes guts to stand up in front of 50 people, 100 people, or 300 people. So thanks for your words, and it took some guts to do it. So thank you very much. From what I've heard tonight, I totally agree. The way forward is with Joss, is also with a charitable trust. I agree with what Neil said. You know, the Blues sometimes can be a bit antisocial behaviour in various parts, and however, I think the benefits far outweigh the negatives. One thing I will disagree with Councillor Neil on is I don't see the Blues losing money. I see the council investing in the town, which brings people into the town, puts us on the map, number one, and actually creates jobs and gives Coners and people from all over the UK and all over our area in Pendle a good time for at least 3 days. So, thank you.
David Coburn-Price.
Thank you, Mary. I'm going to be quite boring, actually. I'm going to talk about money. I don't know. So, money. The council does have quite a large precept and a large budget. It does spend it on lots of things, and lots of new things as well. So, in recent years, the council's taken on the town hall. The roof's not very good, the boiler's not very good. It's taken on Alkincoats Park. It's doing a lot of work there to make that perfect. The thing about taking on all these assets, though, is a case of then using them. Use them to their best advantage. Let people into the town hall. Let them have their weddings, their parties, events, etc. Alkincoats Park. We've got the Queen's Platinum Jubilee coming up next year. Let's have damn big party there. This is what we want. It's all about priorities. And we had a recent exercise where we went through the council's finances for the year to date, the first 6 months, and they're showing quite a good looking surplus for the first 6 months, and things to spend them on are obviously going to come in the second half. But I think there'll be either a break even or surplus for the year. And we looked at the next year's budget as well, and we thought again, there's other things to spend money on. Pendle's finances are in a nightmare state. They want to give the town some other assets, like this very building we're sitting in. That's run by Pendle now, but Cone might want to take it on in order to secure its future. Now, as part of all of those money ins and outs, etc., as Councillor McGladdery, or Kieran as he's known here, has already pointed out, we do have a reserve set aside for the Blues of 25,000, earmark reserve. We got lots of earmark reserves because the council has earmark reserves of £716,000. That's what it brought forward for the year, and if it's going to have another break-even year, that means it has £716,000 to spend next year, if it wanted to. At the moment, it earmarks them for various projects. We've heard about risk, management of risk. There's two ways to deal with risk. One is you're aware of it and you manage it and you address it. The other one is to run away from it. And I believe in managing risk. We've had a lot of offers tonight about expertise from Josh and his mates there, Pendleside Hospice, the Canned Group, etc., lots of businesses. They can actually get involved in running the Blues. It's an awful burden for council officers to actually have to organise and run the Blues with a bit of help here and there. So why not call upon the help of the town, the experts in the town? That's how you manage risk. And then the money is there to fund it. Our original budget had a 50,000 allocation for it, and we should use that to invest. As people said, it's not a loss. It's not a loss of the festival. The council chooses to spend money on priority areas. And to do that, to invest in the Blues, 2022 could be a bit of a transition year, you never know. And then if the charitable trust takes it over, or if all interested parties work together for 2023 and beyond, let's just do it. This is how you save the Blues, and this is a choice we could make tonight. If we want to do a 4-day festival, hey, marvellous, let's go for it. But with better marketing, listening to the public, selling tickets, etc., fundraising on the day, etc., using the collaboration between all the businesses and all the stakeholders around the town, that's how you make it a success. And I think that's what we should do.
I've just got one question, really, that it's Cone people's money, and we can't make an informed decision about what Joss has got without seeing. We haven't seen anything on paper. We haven't looked at anything. We can't say we're going to do something if we don't know what it is, can we?
That's right. Can I respond to that?
I haven't seen a piece of paper from you.
We are everyone. Yeah, that was it. Sorry, we literally we can do this. We don't need Pete Barton. We can start afresh right now. We can have a community-driven project that will benefit the community. Sorry.
we don't want to lose the Blues Festival, but what can I just say? What I've had a look at everything that we've been doing, and this Paddy had some wonderful musicians and wonderful bands, because people who come to this said, but they're not recognised as a headliner. So people buy tickets for, oh, I'd love to see them. They watch the other bands as well. But it's quite true. In this hall, when Pendle Leisure did it, the bar takings was 40, 50,000 for that weekend. Last year, there were 6,000. There was hardly anybody in these.
Neil and then
Liz,
and then Liz.
Councillor Butterworth.
Is this working? Hiya. We'll try. Are we on? Hiya. I understand all your frustration, and I know you all want to speak. But we have a young man at the back that wants to speak, but unfortunately he can't, and he has some good information, but they're not allowed to speak. So what I want to do is I want to move forward. There's different rules within the council, so we need 3 councillors to write in to suspend the motion, which we will do tonight. Before we leave here, we'll get 3 councillors, we'll write into the council to suspend it. Sorry? To review it. There we go. So it all comes back to council. I'm playing by the council rules, so just bear with me. I want to move an actual motion that we look into Josh and the community, because I believe bringing outside bodies in, they're there for financial reasons, not for Cone. Whereas the people like Josh, the Pendle Hospice, the people who've got off the backsides and come here tonight, you deserve it, you deserve a say. It has to be run properly. It has to be risk assessments, it has to be run properly. The population don't understand health and safety, they just have a beer, step in the road and get run over. So there is things that we need to not just vote for the Blues, we need to get the infrastructure behind it. So Josh, is a task for you. I want you to go away, not sleep for the next 24 hours, come up with a plan, and I'm being serious, I'm not messing. But, okay, so I want you to come to the next meeting with your plan, or put your plan in when we have the next council meeting. 3 councillors will have already signed to withhold the motion. So I want to move forward. I want to move that we revisit this Blues Festival as is, but we have to change some things. You can't do it as is. So I'd like to move that we move it to a 4-day event. That means we are changing it slightly. And that's what it says in the rules. We have to change it. You can't do it as it is. So, well, we have to play by the rules. So, okay, so let me move something, as we'll be on that. So I move that Josh brings a proposal to the next council meeting. We are going to vote tonight. Don't worry. Don't panic. As far as I can see, with your help and the councillors, you know, I don't see a problem about the Blues happening now. If we had the experience here 3 years ago, we won't be sat here now. So I'd like to move a motion that we bring Josh in and everybody else in, move it to a 4-day event, and then reinstate the Blues as is. I so move.
Chair, I was about to move something very similar to that, to say that we invite Joss and 2 or 3 other people involved with it to meet a number of, rather than at the full council meeting, we can sit round a table and go through it in a bit more detail, so that we've got an idea, because there's the council, and then that small group of people can then go back to the full council meeting a week tonight to disseminate the information. Also doing this in a smaller group, if things need to be kept confidential, they can be kept confidential rather than in a full open meeting. Because I'm sure there must be bits within your plan that you would want to keep confidential, so that, I don't know, somebody didn't pinch the idea. But I think that is the way forward, rather than dotting I's and crossing T's, whether it's 4 days, 3 days, 4 weeks, whatever. Within a small group, we can go through that detail in a much simpler, not simpler, an easier way, so that we can have a back and forward asking questions rather than in a group. I'm not wanting to do it in secret, but just that it is an easier way to do it than with 60, 70 people, however many I can't see because the lights have come on.
Councillor Hurley wants to speak.
Yes, I'm just a bit concerned that the gentleman at the back has been trying to speak for some time, and I realise that he should have registered to speak, but lots and lots of other people have been able to speak, and he is from the Lancashire Association of District and Town Councils, and I think he might have something important to say.
Yes.
You've had a proposal, and I apologise, I didn't catch your name, from the gentleman in black. I apologise for not registering to speak, but at 10 AM this morning I was actually in Germany. I received 2 emails from members of your council telling me of their concerns. Now, councils do this, and I know members that are gathered here this evening may think, well, what does he know? He's come from Germany. If I tell you that in 1968 we set up a record company, the annual income for that record company, because every time someone downloads a piece of music, we get 10 to a penny. We generated £1.5 billion in the first month. The total generation for the last 12 months was €150 billion on worldwide sales. We sponsored it, well, I can ask. But there's been a proposal from a gentleman here. What you can do is take what has been proposed, have your meeting with a small group of people, report back to your council meeting next week, and if you are altering that's been suggested by the gentleman and Councillor
Coburn Price.
Coburn Price, apologies. Then that's one way of moving forward. As I say, the best way to resolve anything is by working in partnership. I've been involved with Rossendale Leisure Trust has taken over a number of organisations and lots of other organisations. So what I would say is your Clarke has my contact details because I'm also the area secretary for the Burnley Pendle Town and Parish Council, so I do understand the sector quite well. Having done it for 35 years, I understand that people do have issues and concerns. The best way of making a success of anything is by working in community partnership. In 1999, we had over 50,000 motorcyclist visits in Rossendale, and it was the largest motorbike show in Europe. The reason it died was that the individuals from Lancashire Council got involved, and it died a death. It would be very, very sad, and I suppose I've got a personal prejudicial interest because whether it's rock and roll, pop music, garage, blues, or whatever, we make money, we get paid. So it's an opportunity to bring your community together, and there are always issues. And I'll tell you, one of the first things we were involved in was the Rolling Stones concerts in Hyde Park 1968. So if I can be of any help and assistance.
Sir, one moment. May I, as Mayor of Pendle, and these people here, invite you to come on the Blues Committee. All in favour?
You will need to send it through because, as I said, 7 a.m. this morning I was in Germany.
It's on its way.
We do go all over. If I can help in any way, the best way to contact me is via email. Thank you very much.
There's no Jackie Weaver. If we investigate further.
Right. I've got a proposal, and I think which maybe was it?
Yeah.
Councillor Butterworth?
Yeah.
Proposed that Colne Town Council meet with Colne Blue Society and the hospice and bring it back to a future meeting and when we've got that information. And I think Councillor Thomas seconded this proposal. Yeah.
So, hang on.
So can we explain?
So, hang on, you need to vote on it.
If people can make it that. If you can get the information to us, yeah. Yeah, if you can get the information to us.
Yeah, I understand. I know next Tuesday is a bit near, but yeah, we can do anything. I've just said to Josh, don't sleep tonight. Get it all in, get it all sorted. In reality, as a group, as a community, there is nothing we can't do. There is nothing we can't do. Can we get a proposal for next Tuesday? Yeah, we can. Can we get 3 councillors to write in on the spin? Yes, we can. We can do everything that we need to do by next Tuesday. However, it has to be done legally and full. And this young lady here knows all the ins and outs about legal things. So, yeah, can we do it for next Tuesday? Yes, we can. So, well, we'll talk about that at the meeting. You can't make that decision now. Right, thank you.
So we've had a proposer and a seconder. So can we vote on that Colne Town Council meet with Colne Blue Society and the hospice and bring it back to a future meeting as soon as possible, hopefully by next week.
Can you do a show of hands?
Can we do a show of hands for that?
Hang on. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8.
Well, it's not, they're not putting their hands up. Have you not looked?
I think that's
unanimous.
I think that's unanimous.
Thank you.
If it has to be a smaller number of councillors, if we can't get them all there, we'll try to sort that out.
I think, Chair, if it's 3 members of the Conservative group and 3 members of our group, that's 6 people, and then.
Yes, Mr. Aslam.
That's the last item.
Hope you don't mind me too. Been listening to your.
I think Mr. Aslam, thank you for that. But you know, we all struggle getting volunteers. People are working full time, etc. But we do have a good team of volunteers. So thank you. Right, can I close? Pardon? 1 minute, 1 minute.
I think it's important that the voice of residents is heard, and I think it has been heard this evening. I think the benefits of the festival, not only to Clarke, is massive, to Clarke and Pendle and the wider economy. So I think it's absolutely crucial that the effort that's been put in over the last 30 odd years, all the money that's gone into the festival, the hard work, blood, sweat that's gone in isn't wasted. I think it's absolutely crucial that the festival does go ahead, and I'm sure from what we've heard, there's some positive things, it will go ahead. And we've got so much talent, we've heard from people this evening, residents of Clarke and Pendle. We've got so much ability, so much to offer, and I don't think we've got anything to be worried about in terms of moving the festival forward and making it a huge success. And I think the festival is here to stay and it should be here to stay.
Can I ask the leader of Pendle Council if you're going to give Colne Town Council any money so that we can do the road closures and the £9,000 for it costs us for waste removal, etc.
If it's a risk of money that we're worried about,
Well, that's why we're going to have a meeting with you to pick your brains. Can I close the meeting now, please? And thank you for coming, and thank you for speaking in a nice, orderly and not an aggressive manner. So thank you very much.